We're guinea pigs. We are guinea pigs. I can't put it any simpler than that. And I mean that in a very good way. Blizzard's testing us with these brawls. Each and every brawl is a test. Trust me on this. I'll get to more of that in a minute. But first I want to give you an analogy of what's going on here. You guys are lions. You guys are lions, and it's Blizzard's job to feed you. So what do? Here's a salad. Lion ain't interested in a salad. He's a carnivore. He doesn't care if he hasn't eaten in a week. He does not want a salad. So what does Blizzard do? Let's take out the Spanish olives, throw in black olives. Here you go. Dinner time. Nothing. Then Blizzard decides, well, I got an idea. There. Let's take out the Russian dressing, redo it. Here's classic oil, vinegar, pepper. Here you go. Here's dinner. Still not interested. So then Blizzard decides, okay, get rid of the feta cheese, throw in some mozzarella cheese. Here you go. Here's dinner. Fuck you. Give me a steak. Then Blizzard decides, okay, let's sprinkle some bacon on it, and the lion is a little bit interested. Blizzard's testing us, people. Blizzard's testing us with each and every brawl. That's why these brawls are on a separate queue. That's why there's a little bit of a break in between each one. They're monitoring what's going on. They're monitoring what people are interested in by the participation levels. Make no mistake about it. And they're not going to make this information public. That's just not going to work. And let me summarize this brawl for you here now. This is a combination of twos, combination of world v world PvP in a place the size of a bathroom. Here you go. Have some fun. It's got its place. It's interesting. It's fun. And if you guys want to learn arena maps, I mean, really learn them. Even if you're experienced in arena, especially if you're not experienced in arena, this is a great opportunity to do it. There's very little consequences if you fuck up, and you really get to learn the maps very, very well. It's a great opportunity to take advantage of it. But Blizzard is testing us with each and every one of these brawls. They want to see what people like in PvP. And the reality is this is a tough thing to do because there are 5 different visions of PvP, of which 4 of them are very well represented in WoW, and I'm going to hit them right now. First one is the outlaw versus outlaw. 2 gunfighters in the middle of the street fighting over, I don't know, could be a tumbleweed, could be some cow, it could be a cactus, I don't know. Old style West, a draw, count to 5, who's left standing? The perfect example of this is twos. This is first to burst type of PvP. This is blow all your cooldowns, blow them fast, and see who's left standing. This is a very aggressive style PvP. This has a lot of action to it, and these are people that want to have 15, 20 matches in an hour. They just want to pop them out, pop them out, pop them out. Forget what just happened in the last one, go on to the next one. There's nothing wrong with it. This is what they love. This is what they really want. And there's a time and place for it. The second type of PvP is a more cognitive approach, a more strategic approach, a more team-oriented approach. This is Three's Arena. This is probably the most respected, most competitive PvP out there. People will say that it's balanced, close to it. Close to it. I'll be fair and say that this is what the game is supposedly balanced around. This is competitive PvP at its finest, but it's mostly about coordination. It's mostly about positioning and communication than it is about anything else. Of course, comps as well. And what I mean by this is it's not about coordinating focus target, who to CC, who to gank and kill first. No, it's not only about that. It's about managing cooldowns as a whole. And this is very key, and a lot of people don't talk about this, and I don't understand why. Maybe they think it's a given, but then again, I've seen people make dumb videos over the stupidest little, most obvious things. So I don't think this is very, very obvious. But the point is this. You want to coordinate your cooldowns. You don't want to blow your healing cooldown, your self-heal. You don't want to blow your defenses while your healer is still up and standing, while he is inside of you, while he is not CC'd. You want to save those defenses and those self-heals when your healer is CC'd, when he's when he's out of line of sight because he was just feared, or if he's dead, quite frankly. That's when you want to save those cooldowns. So this type of PvP is very, very competitive, very, very coordinated, very, very cognitive and strategic. You could even throw RBGs into the mix here. The third type of PvP are your everyday, ordinary battlegrounds. War. These are objective-based PvP. It's not kill the other guy who could kill who first. These are objective-based. Some are better than others, quite frankly. And this is the core of PvP, or at least old school WoW, it was the core of PvP. I'm not talking vanilla. I'm not even talking necessarily BC, but around Wrath of the Lich King through MoP. It's where the biggest amount of participation is, PvP. Battlegrounds. You could even look and see at some of the bigger YouTubers, the guys that have rating, the biggest, and I'm talking guys that are YouTubers, guys like Bajira, guys that like Swifty, Hotted. If they do a video, even Kobrak, the battleground videos are getting far more views than the arena videos. Why? Because it translates better. It's objective-based. It's not totally kill-based. And people can follow it. And that's where the biggest participation area in WoW is. That's where people's first experience of PvP is. And this is where the issue is with WoW currently. It's very much neglected, and I think these brawls are trying to address that. But they're not trying to address it with immediacy. It's more or less a gathering of information and maybe forming a different vision. And I'll get to that in another video at another time where I talk about esports. Now, the next type of PvP is world PvP. This is predator versus prey. This is out there in the wild, wild west where all things are never equal. I'm not a big fan of world PvP, although I do admit there was a time where I loved the idea of ganking everyone and anything I could find. But after a while, it gets old. And when you're level 110 and you gank somebody who's level 101, congratulations. Here's a gold star for the refrigerator. You just beat a 5-year-old in chess. Have a beer. I mean, give me a break. But there is an element to this that I think is one of the more exciting and underrated things in the game, because when it comes to world PvP, it's all about initiative. Who takes the initiative? Because they're the ones that have the edge. And picture this, and I will tell you this, there is no greater feeling in the game than this. And I meant that 5 years ago, and I still mean it right here and now. You're reading a quest, a world quest, whatever, you're kind of distracted, all of a sudden somebody starts hacking at you. They take the initiative and they're trying to gank you. And next thing you know, you're down to like 1/3 of your health, but somehow, some way, you're able to reverse the trend. You're able to turn the tables of the fight and kill them and then teabag them. No better feeling in the game than to be able to do that. World PvP, folks. And then there's that element of world PvP where people just try to gank lower levels or anybody they could possibly find because they want to escalate it into that World v World gala event. They want it 15v15, 20v20. They want someone to be ganked so many times that he cries to his guild and he's like, guys, I got ganked. I need help. I need help. You know, he blows the horn of Gondor. He's looking for help. And then next thing you know, they bring 2 people, and the guy who initially ganked brings 2 people, and then it's 4v4, 8v8, and it just escalates. I get that. That's a lot of fun. It doesn't happen often, but it is fun when it does happen. I'll sign off on that. World PvP at its finest. And then this leads me into the next area, which is World v World PvP. This is best represented in games like Black Desert Online, Guild Wars 2, World v World, Siege type PvP. 2 worlds collide. It's greater than a 40v40 because, you know, once it gets beyond 40, Blizzard has difficulty with math. So these are monster-sized BGs on big maps, World v World. And in Guild Wars 2, it's World v World type of PvP. And I have news for you. There's a lot of this PvP in the pipeline for 2017, MMOs that have yet to come out, and 2018. Apparently people want this. I don't think that the technology is really there to back it. And I do not play on a potato computer. I will tell you this. Back in Wintergrasp I did, but now I certainly don't. And I have the best internet possible, upload and download. And I'll tell you, it still isn't the right technology. And Blizzard attempted this with Asheran. And I'm not a big fan of Asheran. I am not a big fan of it. It's not my thing. But I do recognize what Blizzard tried to accomplish and what they tried to do here. Old school AV. Okay? I mean, it's kind of like going out and buying a Picasso, and basically you get some like finger paint from a 5-year-old. Okay, that's the difference between old school AV and Asheran. But Blizzard tried. They tried. Okay, fine. I give them that. You know, big difference between using finger paints and oil paints, but I give you the effort. I do give you that. I think the main problem with Asheran wasn't Asheran itself as much as it was the technology just wasn't there. And they just kept trying to hotfix it and change and tweak the technology. And we're fixing it live where it should have been fixed on the beta. And at which point, after several months went by, Blizzard just lost the confidence of the average PvPer. And the average PvPer didn't want to give it a fair shake. They just had enough of Blizzard. That's it. We're done. We don't want to be bothered with Asheran. I mean, Holinka to this day, you know, I even will still say, even though he's not head of PvP, he could be on the Destiny 2 team now, or he could be on some new project, and he's going to still insist that people like Asheran. And I'll say, no, Holinka, they don't like Asheran. They just want to suck your cock and get on your good side, okay? I can't put it any blunter than that. Nobody really loved that fucking place. Yes, I'm sure there's one guy in the comments that loves Asheran, but you are the minority. Trust me on this. And it's not all because Asheran was a bad idea. It was a bad implementation, and the technology just wasn't there. And I think it was just very, very rushed and very, very forced and very, very shoved. And I think that's what the community had a lot of pushback for. So you have these 5 different aspects of PvP. I'd like to know what your favorite is out of the 5. We're talking 2s, we're talking 3s, we're talking BGs, we're talking World PvP, and we're talking a big, World v World or Siege type PvP. Let me know what your favorite is in the comments, because your vision of where you want PvP to go, or what it is that you want to engage in and WoW and make it great, depending on what you choose out of those different categories, is going to be very different from the next guy. And we're not saying that Blizzard can't represent everybody, but they need to start focusing on a particular aspect of PvP in the game and market that. Which leads me to my last thought, for this video at least. Okay, back in WoD, when I saw the preview for what was going to happen with Legion, this is pre-alpha stuff, the first thing I realized was normalized gear for PvP, okay? And I thought, yes, this is a necessary step for esports, because here's the reality. I look at a game like World of Warcraft, and I compare it to Star Trek, Star Wars, 2 franchises that have been around for 50 and 40 years respectively. There's a new Star Wars movie coming out in December, and there's a new Star Trek series coming out this fall. They're still around. They're still breathing. They're still alive and kicking. And WoW's been around for about 30 years. If you consider the real-time strategy game, well, more like 25, but they've been around for quite a while. And I think they can still be around for a while if they roll with the punches, if they make the necessary changes. And esports, people, is the future. I'm not a big fan of esports, but I see the writing on the wall. And when you talk about the kind of franchise that WoW is, you're talking about 13 years of an MMO. Think of how many people... Now, we could debate all day long whether there's 4 million or 8 million current players in the game, but there's estimates of as low as 30 million people that have played WoW for a year or two to 60 to 70 million over those 13 years. Or what about the guy that played the real-time strategy game on his computer, who now has kids and sees the MMO and wants his kids to get involved with the MMO because that's something he could do as well? I'm telling you, this is a huge franchise, and Blizzard doesn't want to abandon that potential audience. Esports is the future, and I thought that they were moving in that direction for normalized gear because esports, and the truth couldn't be anything further. Yes, they're moving towards esports, but think about this, guys. What would it be like if somebody in full conquest gear with full artifact power going up against somebody in blues and greens with maybe 3/4 artifact power? Even if the guy who's armed to the teeth with gear and artifact power is me playing an elemental shaman, and the other guy who's got no gear and no prayer is a rogue like Census, Dalaran, or Wreckful, the Ellie Shaman's winning the majority of the time. And could you imagine how OP it would be if Conquest Gear was in the game with artifact power in full swing? I think that's the main reason why they went with normalized gear. This is Luxeley saying, whatever it is about you, morning, afternoon, or night, make it epic. Or let me say it better. Make it epic. Luxley out.